Alright, welcome to the Set 15 Challenger Retro, and no lol chess, no game review, no ranting. Well, there will be ranting, but no ranting about specific games with replays on my Outplayed, where I go over specific augment choices or anything, or there will be no, well, I will discuss things, but there will be no Reddit posts on the screen, no images. Well, there will be this image, but yeah, our budget has been cut from a plate of wings to a bag of potato chips. But this is probably the final video of the set, and one thing I will say is I did not hit Challenger. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But I'm making this video not because it's like an arbitrary, not because I think it's arbitrary. I think it's like, it's a meaningful milestone. It means there's 250 slots on North America. So you have to be within that, and it's about the journey, as I always say, and all that. But the reason is because I was brainstorming things to say when I did hit it, and one of the things that came to mind is that even though I have a lot of time invested into it, it's not because I necessarily enjoy it right now, and I actually don't, because, well, we'll get into that. But if you're a competitive person in that sense, a lot of times you play for the competitiveness, not necessarily, the yeah, I mean, I'm sure you get it, but, and so I'm thinking, why am I doing this? I was like thinking about that while I was thinking about what to say, and I was just like, why? Like, I'm forcing it, and I think that's like actually a quality that's good in a lot of senses. Well, it's like, I mean, a lot of people say this, but you hate Dish Soap tweeted about it, is basically, you hate being bad more than you hate doing like whatever it is, like grinding for whatever. I think that's like, it's I don't know. This this video is shit, but it's like a standard of excellence. I don't know, an ego thing maybe. I'm not sure, but I think this set, it's just I say I like hype it up as a good thing, but I'm saying like why I'm like not applying it here. But I have applied it for a long time, and I think my cope is that the more something is frustrating, the harder it is to excel at it, because you get frustrated. It's pretty simple, but I'm trying to yeah, I mean, that's the point in regards to that, I'll say. And maybe I will hit. I think there's like a decent chance I will hit. I also missed the cutoff for the first tournament, and I had to drop out of the sub-regional. The cutoff for the sub-regional was D4, so it's not like playing in that is prestigious, but if you like top 8 or something, you get an invite to the tournament. And, well, first of all, you also get money for like top 16, I think, maybe top 20, I'm not sure, but I had to drop because I just had things going on. But So that means no torments this set, because I highly doubt that I'm going to play in the next one. Because, like, even if they fix the set at this point, it's just, I'm so tilted. And I don't know. I'll say the one thing about the set, and if you read the the Reddit post that Mort Dog had to respond to, or he didn't have to, but he did it to let people know that the devs are listening and they agree. And I think that's really important, so I'm glad. That makes me happy. But one of the points it made was that you don't really flex. And Frodan, in his response to this, basically said the game should look like an inverse pyramid, an upside down pyramid. I was thinking of explaining what that means, but I'm sure you know upside down pyramid is. But as the game goes on, the possibilities for what you can play should open up. And in a sense, that's never how it worked, because you always want to slam early game items for tempo, and there'll always be augments that are like disproportionately good for certain comps that you want to take. But ideally, it's like, first of all, there should be, like, every item should have multiple, like, ways to play it further in the game. And I think that's, like, not the case, but I'll get to that. It's part of the bigger point. But he said basically the way it works is it's like a very narrow spike where basically by stage 2, like, I'd say 85% of the time your composition is locked in. And then if it's not, by stage 3, like maybe like 95%, and then like 5% is like flexing on a roll down. And sometimes you can like hit econ, like third augment, and you're like, oh, I'm fast 9 now. I hit invested plus plus. I happen to have. Well, that composition is very flexible in items. In a sense, like, because at the end of the day, you still need various items. You kind of need like good tank items. But this set, like the way, and maybe that was true last set in a sense too, where you like want to commit as soon as possible. Like the hardest games are the ones where you have no direction, and it's like there's this PoE2 meme where, you know, it's the guy who's like smashing on it's like PoE2 versus PoE1, and PoE2 the guy's like smashing on his keyboard, and PoE1 the guy's like just dancing, and it's like he's singing the song. Like he's singing Payphone, that's the song. You know that meme? And he's just like dancing and his character's like blasting through blood aqueducts. But yeah, that's what it feels like, having direction versus no direction in this game nowadays. And you almost, like, it feels so hard to slam an item without like a game plan for what you're going to use it for. Like, take Infinity Edge for a minute, and we can go into whether this is like balance or design philosophy, but you slam Infinity Edge, what do you play with that? You can't play, like, say you just slam it for tempo. You're like, I'm gonna tempo into 4-cost fast 8 with this Infinity Edge I have on my Callista too. What do you play with that? You play Jinx. You could play Varus, but you can't play Varus because that's a fast 9 board. So you'll know if you're playing Varus, and you're probably not. So you're playing Jinx, which means you need the 1 cost. You need Rel, you need Syndra, you need the 2 cost, you need Xayah. And what that means is you have to hold these units, and if you're not win streaking, then you're just like, well, you should be should be winning some fights if you're on tempo, but then you're like losing econ by holding a bench and a board, and it's just, yeah. So I guess the phrase some people use, and it's not the euphemism, it's like, I won't say what it is, but it's like putting the thing in the thing, it's what they say. And it basically means don't do anything fancy. You have a Rod and a Syndra 2 and a Rel 2, you are going to play this comp. Or you have a Rel 2 and a Syndra 1 and Ezreal 1 and a Garen 1 and a Rod. You're going to play this comp. And I also think that's part of it. I don't necessarily think that the items are that inflexible, although they are. Like for Ashe, you literally need 6 perfect items to play this comp, or at least 5. But even for the comps that's not like that, well, first of all, you need 3 bows for that comp, but for Yuumi you need 3 or 4 rods, 3 or 4 rods to play the comp. So if you don't have a rod opener and you don't get rod off carousel, you can't really play it. That's another thing that's so heavily factored into this comp. If you don't have rods, a rod on your first 3 items, it's, yeah, you're not really playing Yuumi unless you're just lose streaking into take rod into hope you get rod off the next thing, and then if you don't, you're screwed. And Ashe, you need 3 bows. Ryze, you need 3 tiers, I'd say, at least. No, not at least. You need 3 tiers. You need Vow, Void Staff, Archangels, and Ryze is more flexible, but that's another thing. There's these items that are just unslammable Titans, and they're addressing it with the role change. So I guess there's no point going into the details, but there's and artifacts. Oh my god. I mean, artifacts are obviously a joke. That does not need to be said, but I will say it anyway. So, artifacts, there's so many bad prismatic augments too. I'm not gonna bring it up, but I will look at it on my second monitor. There's so many crowns that are just terrible. I mean, almost all of them. Protagonist is terrible. Exalted Adventure, Hard Commit. I mean, investment strategy situationally good. The rest of these are have situations where they're acceptable, but the starter kit at what cost? Spoils of War. I played Prismatic Destiny into Spoils of War. It's dude, these Tiniest Titan, oh, that one triggers me so much. That one's now randomly viable because Fast 9 is a thing and Crystal Gambit's okay, but they have to realize the only thing that kept that augment relevant at all was lose streak traits. Yeah, so. And it feels they're not trying very hard to balance these augments, in my opinion. But I actually shouldn't say that because we'll get to that. And the units aren't balanced. So my few points. The units aren't really balanced. They haven't been balanced this set. They haven't come close to being balanced. There's a patch where Yuumi and Karma are both playable, but then at first Yumi's only playable, and then Yuumi and Karma are both playable, and then Karma's not playable, and Samir's playable the first patch, but then she's never playable again. Volibear's playable for one patch, she's never playable again. Akali's playable for one patch, she's never playable again. And Jinx is like, she came back. It's just like, also Caitlyn's like, okay, you get my point. The units are like useless. The hero augments went from like Omega S tier, not Omega S tier, but they were like mostly S tier, to now they're all C tier. Protagonist is terrible. The Zac one's okay, to be fair. And I'm not making a point about, I guess here, I'll say my broader point is the balance of this set is not good, like, at all. In my opinion, it's like not even like acceptable. I mean, that sounds like it's like we're entitled to good balance, but it is like way below the standards, in my opinion, that the TFT team has held up for the last few years. And not always, but like this start of the set is like, it's like, I genuinely can't remember a more imbalanced set. And I saw Emily Wang complain about like bugs and stuff like that, and yeah, there's a ton of like just weird bugs. Like a funny one is if you start Lulu on the 3-cost Star Galaxy, you can see a shop. There's like Star Sailors apparently bugged, 7 mech pilots like apparently bugged. There's just like, yeah. Also, power-ups are like, I won't, like, I'm not smart enough to know the effects power-up has. I saw Kiyun say, basically, one of the frustrating things of the set is, like, a lot of boards feel like a DPS check. Like, can you kill Udyr? If not, well, you're screwed. And a lot of that comes down to, do you have anti-heal? Which is like, okay, anti-heal's mandatory this set because Yuumi and Udyr and Star Guardians. Yeah, like, okay, anti-heal's mandatory. But, I mean, I don't know. It just feels, I mean, he's right. It, like, does feel so bad. Like, can you kill this Mega 3-star Malphite? Can you kill this Leona too? Can you kill Innervating Lucky Garen? If not, take 8 unit damage, 8 unit loss. Congratulations. And I think that might be part of power-ups, but my point on power-ups is that they're not balanced. Like, the tank ones, like, are okay. Like, it's not that unreasonable, but a lot of the carry ones are just, like, just so bad. Like, don't get me wrong, there are bad tank ones, too. But, like, classy? Who is classy good on? Like, like, Fairy Tail, like, has niches, but it's like and Caretaker's like terrible. Like, dude, it's like, I don't know. It's, yeah, okay. So I guess my point is, power-ups aren't balanced, items aren't balanced, units aren't balanced. Radiant items weren't balanced either, but they've gotten closer to that. Hero augments, like, aren't balanced. Like, Priz augments aren't balanced. Like, I think, like, gold and silver aren't that egregious. Like, they're about on the standard. But the Priz augments, like, nah. Like, nah. And I guess it kind of comes back to the first video I made on the set, where it's like, also another point brought up by Emily Wang was that they're patching too much. They did A patch, B patch, C patch, D patch, and it's like confusing to new players because she's like telling them to play Gangplank, and they're like next day they're like, oh, I was playing Gangplank, I was climbing, but now I'm going 8th every game. And to be honest, like, I don't care. Like, just, like, can't she just tell these people, like, go on TFT Academy? Like, what, like, why do you have to, like, do a team builder? Like, Isn't that what a lot of people do anyway? Or look at your overlay or something? I don't know. But I do, like, I am sympathetic to the point that, like, some people are, like, super casual, and it's, like, bad for them when their GP comp, like, literally no longer works at all because they changed his mechanic. Which, that happened, like, in an actual patch. So, I guess that's, like, I don't know. But my point is, like, the balance should come closer, like, on the PBE. Like, it's insane how we're like a month in and we're not even close to balance on these things. Like, I don't know. But I don't know. I guess I will talk about the one good thing that is happening, which, and to be clear, I don't know if I blame the devs. It's just, I don't know. I blame myself. I don't know. I don't blame anyone. It is what it is. TFT is a hard game. And another point people say is like, it comes from optimization, like the inability to flex comes from optimization, dude. I don't think so at all. I do think it's like more of a balance issue than a design philosophy where the power's like too much in the traits. Although I do think that is the case. Like, but I don't know. Like, I think that's like fixable. Like, you can make Volibear. Like, Volibear is like one of the flex units, but like you can make Samir playable without Soul Fighter, right? Vertical Soul Fighter. You can probably make Jinx playable without Star Guardian. Like, can you make Yuumi playable without Prodigy? I don't know. Don't know about that one. I mean, maybe. But it's... I kind of lost it. But I do think it's mostly a balance thing, which is why I'm kind of upset about the balance. And all of the augments are balance based. You know, the crowns, the like hard commits, the exalted adventures. Like I remember I had an exalted adventure game. It was like Janna, Lux, Vi. Yeah. And I don't know. Uh, I guess my hope is that I will, I'll just say I will read the learnings article at the end of this set for sure. Usually I skip them nowadays, but this one I will read for sure because, and people also say like now they work 3 sets ahead. They have 3 different teams working on 3 different sets, so their learnings like actually won't come out until like a year from now. Oh my god. But to be honest, like, is it really about like learnings? Like, I just think there's like way too much happening this set. Like roles revamped, power ups. I guess that's it, but like it's still too, it's clearly like too much, or like they weren't. But also, as I said in the first video, there's like more talking. Said they have this new like style, like, or like process for balancing. So I'm staying hopeful. I mean, I love the game. I always will. And yeah, so oh, another thing I thought of. This isn't TFT related, but people, this guy made this video ranting about how like all the PoE1 creators are super like negative and like feed this like hate cycle for PoE2, which is like which like brings down the whole game in terms of like publicity and like other people playing it, and it like normalizes the hate, like undeserved hate, when the game's not that bad, even though it does have problems and stuff like that. And I do think that's true for like a lot of games, especially on Reddit. But to be honest, and I do think streamers do it too, like not even like intentionally, if like they're frustrated, they have to play this game so much and they want it to be good. They want it to be good, and if it is good, they will say it's good. But maybe it's harder to make TFT good is maybe a thing, like because I'm sure optimization does play a role in it. I don't think it's like the whole story at all. I think the idea that you can't have flexibility with optimization like undersells pro players by so much, because if it's worth it to spend the gold to hold Karma and Yumi on a roll down and a Kali, maybe even AP items, like they will do that. They will be able to figure out that it's worth it, and they will do it. Like, so if the balance is like works in that way, they will be able to figure that out and perform it. So, but I guess my thoughts on that in regards to TFT is that people do it. People, like, it is popular to hate on the set, and like Soju's like, obviously he part of why he's popular is because his rants, and he just went on this like 30-minute rant. I'm on a 30-minute rant right now, so I can't criticize him, but he went on a 30-minute rant about the checkmate format. But he knows it's necessary, in my opinion. Like, if you're not gonna suggest something better, like if you're not gonna say that we shouldn't have checkmate or suggest something better, like what is the point, in my opinion? Like, but obviously he has a right to do it and people love it, so, but there's like nothing to even say on that. Like, I think most even competitive players like agree with checkmate, and he like listed the positives of the tournament. I am hyped about like the tournament cycle, the set with the pro circuit. I will actually watch that. I did watch the first games, so yeah, I guess I don't know what to say, because I've just been ranting about how frustrating this set is for like 30 minutes, so it's hard to say that I'm like not feeding into it. I mean, obviously I don't do it like for attention or anything. Like, I think most sets, like the videos I make are positive. I say I'm enjoying the set. I've played the set like a lot, so I do enjoy it. Or I don't at this point I don't, but I did enjoy a lot of it, even though it wasn't balanced. But yeah, there's a lot of frustrating things this set, and I think a lot of it comes down to balance and the set just being like very unpolished in terms of bugs, in terms of like multiple balance aspects, like not just like the comps and the units, but like almost every part of the game is unbalanced. And yeah, I mean, I I love the game. I love competing, even though I'm not competing this set. And I'm hopeful. The more dog posts makes me hopeful. So, yeah. And the very last thing, actually not TFT related, I've been rewatching the World End anime, and man, I love that show. I really do. I really love that show. And it's cause first of all, I don't watch like romance shows anymore just because most of them are set in high school. But this one's not set in high school, so it's okay. But it has a weird romance between a 30-year-old guy, presumably, and a 15-year-old. But if it's good enough for your favorite YouTuber, it's good enough for me, right? I'm not talking about me. I mean, obviously, I'm talking about, yeah. Well, I actually, I shouldn't even, but is it weird? I don't know. I'll have to rewatch the ending, but yeah, I mean, it is kind of weird, but I love the show. I don't know what to say. It's like has that classic old school anime vibe of like I don't know. This like kind of like just generic-ish fantasy world, I guess, even though it's set in the real world. I mean, fantasy can be set in the real world, right? Or is that not? I don't know. But where they've got like beast creature people or whatever, like they've got other races and they have like floating sky islands. It's like those old like Japanese animated movies. Castle in the Sky or something. Is that one of them? I don't know. But yeah, it's got those vibes and the characters are like amazing. I love all the characters. There are some like fan service like things that I just find stupid. Like the two things that stick out is like the troll girl like confessing to him. It's just cringe. It's so unnecessary. It's like not really fleshed out at all. Like why? And then also the like massage scene. Like the first one is like weird. It's weird. It's weird. She's 15, bro. She's 15. But I mean that one's like acceptably weird. But the second one, like that one's too much. She's moaning too much. It's just like it's kind of cringe. But everything else about the show, like the subtle world building, the characters, like the emotional like moments are like nice, but it's like not too much. It's just it's just good vibes, even though it has a tragic, yeah, it's kind of tragic. But also, if you read the synopsis is like makes it honestly sound even better than it is, because it's like not like really that much about that. I mean, it kind of is, but I'm not even gonna read it. If you watch it, I suggest you don't read it because it's like about more than that. But or not because it's about more than that, but because it kind of like gives away like the first two episodes, which I like. Well, I don't like that it gives it away, but I like the first two episodes. And yeah, so it's a chill anime. I'm trying to think of like the last thing I have to say. Oh, also, I think it is like in a sense like about dealing with like the cognitive decline of a person, but I don't like that is like literally spoilers kind of, I guess. That is like literally what happens in the show, but I don't think it's necessarily like an insightful commentary on what that experience is like. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I personally don't care. I don't think that's like necessarily what the show is about. It's about the relationship between the people, and that just like is one of the complicating factors in the show. But yeah, I just want to point that out.